Deion did something that very few coaches are able to do. He leveraged his relationships. Skip, no football team had more uniforms than Jackson State except the University of Oregon. Under Armour, every single week, they got new helmets, they got new unis. He did this with Walmart. He took $150,000 of his salary and helped finish building the facilities.
He did.
He leveraged his relationship with American Airlines, so when they had to travel great distances, they flew American Airlines. Mm-hmm. He had a great relationship with Michael Strahan, so he said, hey, Stray, can you do me this solid? Hook the boys up with jackets and slacks, so we don't look like an all-tournament team when we're on the road. Some guys got on sweaters, some guys got on shirt and ties, some guys got on hoodies, some guys got on Jackson State paraphernalia.
Yep.
He did that.
He did that.
And still, we get opportunities. We say, ooh, we want guys to get opportunities. We want our black coaches to get opportunities. He gets an opportunity. He takes the opportunity, and now you mad.
He laid the blueprint. He showed us what's possible. What more do you want from Deion Sanders? And I'm going to tell you something else. Deion Sanders didn't have to go to an HBCU at all. If Deion Sanders' mentality was to get a Power 5 job, the thing that most people would have done would have went to a smaller PWI. But instead of going to a smaller PWI, he decided to go to an HBCU, which was a very risky move. You know why? Because there's never been an HBCU coach that got a Power 5 job until now.
Yeah.
Deion did what he was supposed to do with Jackson. Man.
Yeah.
He did the right thing. He made Jackson hot. Mm-hmm. He put them on the map. They should have papered him up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If you want him to stay.
If you want him to stay, he did all of that. He turned the team around. He made the HBCUs hot. They should have did everything in their power to paper Deion up. We have this thing, man, as black folks, we wait on white folks to come in with the money. You dig?
Yeah.
And we expect, well, he got money, so he's good. And Deion was donating his salary to the school.
Half of it.
Half of it.
Yeah.
We can't do business like that. We should have been making sure that Deion was the most paid, highly paid coach out there. The stuff that he was doing, Jackson State should have been making endorsement deals. They should have been doing merchandising deals. They should have been bringing in more sponsors on their own. Deion was bringing in sponsors from what I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, the man can't do it all. So at the end of the day, he's like, hey, I did what I had to do. Let me go make sure that I'm good over here. My son is good. Let me make sure my legacy is good. And let me make sure the paper is back where it's supposed to be.
Because when you make it a difference, it's going to be haters. My mama.
There is a lot of conversation revolving around the fact that Deion Sanders left Jackson State to take the University of Colorado head coaching job. Now, for those of you who know a little bit about the University of Colorado, it was a prominent program, especially in the early 90s when they had players like Cordell Stewart at the university. They even had like Rashawn Salam, who was a Heisman Trophy winner at that time. And they even won a national championship. They had Michael Westbrook. I mean, they had a really great program. And unfortunately, after the mid-90s, the University of Colorado never really saw its heyday again. And that was when it was in the Big 12 amongst other powerhouses like Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. And now I believe University of Colorado is in a new conference. I don't watch college football anymore, but they're looking to get back to that heyday glory. And what other way to do it than to bring possibly one of the top 2 or 3 football players of all time, Deion Sanders. Now, why is that such a good hire for University of Colorado? Number one, it's a tough place to recruit. There are a lot of different places people would want to recruit. Florida has good weather. You have Alabama, Nick Saban. I mean, you have the West Coast schools, the USCs, the UCLAs. And it's easy for, people not to want to go and play in Colorado because it snows, right? And it's kind of, bad there. But with somebody like Deion Sanders in a great alumni association and the willingness to spend the money, yeah, you can pull recruits there. How do we know it? Because Deion Sanders pulled recruits to Jackson State. Stop the show. Yeah, Jackson State. Rewind. So let's kind of talk about Mississippi. Mississippi has had a lot of problems that some states shouldn't have. And we're not talking about Medgar Evers type problems in the 60s. No, we're talking about like not having at certain times clean water. We're talking about certain issues in the state. And these are just simple things that just shouldn't happen. But despite that, Deion Sanders decides to take the head coaching job at Jackson State, and he exceeds and does very well. Unfortunately for Jackson State, Deion also recruited a lot of top-level talent to come to the HBCU, and a lot of people in skill positions, wide receiver, cornerback, running back, places like that. And that's what allowed Jackson State to really have the opportunity to, do what it's doing now, which is pretty much obliterating all its competition. But now, fundamentally, here's another problem. People are upset that Deion Sanders has left, and he's going to turn down $300,000 a year to pretty much make $5 million a year, have access to certain things like, houses, helicopters, things like that. But what I'd like to do is kind of go over some of the comments, and, people are still upset. Let me go to Marquette Smith, okay? The high schools in Texas have better facilities for students. The water supply system in 2022, they broke into Deion's truck in the first season. They broke into his locker room in Jackson, Mississippi. And no one is talking about the facts I added. The bowl game for Jackson State is $1 million. What can you do in Jackson after football season? Nothing. His hometown is in Canton, Texas. Many of you never been to Jackson State or heard of it until Deion came. The NFL Man Award of the Year is named after who? And what college did he get his education from? Okay. Now I want to read another comment that is very similar to this one, and these are the only two I'm gonna deal with. They broke into his car 5 times, his kids' cars, and robbed his office. They showed no respect or appreciation for him down there.
Stuff right now. While the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room, in the coach's office. Oh my God. Yeah, credit cards, wallet, watches. Thank God I had on my necklaces. How? So how do you think it feels after just teary-eyed because the guys have presented me with the game ball, one of the best moments I've ever had in my professional sports career emotionally. And then you go into your locker room, your coach's office to digress, and you notice and you don't even have a phone because it's been stolen. We're going to find out who did it.
All right, and that's kind of what I want to deal with for the remainder of this episode. And of course, let me just talk about, this in general. Do we need people to come in and build the Black America and to build, the infrastructure and to build businesses and have talent? Sure, it's nice to have that, and you definitely need it. Would it be nice if people did it for us? Yes. Do they have to do it? No. And why is that? Because a lot of times when you want to come back and help build for your people, unfortunately, you have some people who just don't care. Like breaking into Deion Sanders' cars, his son's cars, feeling in danger. You have people like using his restroom, doing things like that would never happen at a PWI university. And where's the respect? Because you know what? A lot of times I can make the sacrifice if I'm feeling like I'm making a difference in somebody's, neighborhood or let's say in my community. But if I'm at danger, that's a different story. That's where the rubber meets the road. And you know what? A lot of times people expect that Black people should come in and suffer just because they have talent, although you're not suffering. Like people will always say, he needs to stay there and not worry about the money. But then individually, you're not there putting your life in danger at Jackson State. And we know that Jackson, Mississippi is one of the worst cities in America. That's not you doing that. You're somewhere trying to live in the suburbs next to the white man because you're afraid also to live by the community that raised you. And we just gotta be understandable about that. That you know what, Deion Sanders has probably done a lot for the Black community in his years. Giving money to charity, coach kids, summer camps. What more can people do than to do that? And then also, what about, as far as this whole idea that entertainers or coaches or comedians, people like that, they are not the builders of Black America. So we need to stop looking to them, right? That's the argument. I've heard Malcolm X say it. I've heard many people say it. So now somebody like Deion Sanders, who would be considered in the entertainer class, shouldn't also be looked at as far as a person that needs to develop or lead or build programs at the same time, because that should typically come from the intellectual class of people, which our intellectual class and talent entrepreneur class, if you want to be honest, they don't do anything for Black America. They've never done it. They've integrated and left just like everybody else. But we expect Deion Sanders, who has the opportunity at 58 years old to set his family up for more financial liquidity for the rest of his life, $5 million a year. I mean, that's huge money. Potentially getting him in the position to teach or coach in the NFL at some point, that's a lot of money. Instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to stay at Jackson State and keep getting my house broken into, or my kid's car broken into, or, you know, risking my life to deal with some of these Pookies and Ray Rays out here. I mean, what do you expect? Not everybody wants to give their life for Black America, because nobody's going to help you do nothing, but they'll criticize you all day when you want a better life for yourself. And it's just that we don't really care about keeping talent. It's not a big deal. Could Deion Sanders have given us a hometown discount? He already was doing that. But we just expect that, hey, keep doing stuff for us, for the struggle. And don't get me wrong, we do need a certain level of people to be able to do that, but they shouldn't have to be athletes. Where is the Black elites? Where are the talented 10th? And I do consider Deion to be very talented, but where are the intellectuals, the entrepreneurs that were supposed to do that? They are nowhere to be found. So because Deion Sanders doesn't want to continue doing it, y'all are upset. When we have a group of people that should be trying to develop our class and they never have shown up. I put the onus on that group of people, not Deion Sanders. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.